Hamilton wide open.
Has a lot of space.
Oh my goodness.
It's the three.
We're one trophy final down and one to go. Now the stars of the BBL go head-to-head for the second piece of silverware to be determined this season. The London Lions take on the Plymouth Raiders, and we're live from the University of Worcester Arena. Here we go then. Kieran Achara and I are joined by Newcastle's Drew Lasker. Great to see you, Drew. You're no stranger to days like this, and winning trophies never gets old, does it?
It never gets old. This environment, this atmosphere, you can feel the buzz right now. And fortunately for me, I've had the opportunity to play in 15 and 16 of them. So there's only 3 opportunities to play in this type of game. And luckily for my Newcastle Eagles, we got an opportunity in January.
Yeah, as I said, the second major final of the season. Of course, the first was their cup final loss, the Lions, that is, to your Eagles. I'm sure you won't mind us taking the opportunity to remind you of this moment.
Yeah, the memories. It's tough being in this situation, but on the flip side, there's no nerves. I'm just a neutral today.
I love the way you battled right into the thick of that trophy lift there. Even without the fans, Drew, there's a different energy on finals day, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. You have to literally go through it. That's why they say experience is the best teacher. So I look for London to have that slight edge because they got an opportunity to play in January in the Cup final.
Some people are calling the Raiders underdogs today, Kieran. Is that fair, given that they've won 12 out of the last 13?
I think it suits them, to be fair. You know, I look at Plymouth and the way they've been playing right now, having that underdog mentality, it's a motivator, you know. So I think that it's less pressure on them, but at the same time, mindset-wise, they know that they are very, very capable of winning this game.
And everybody talks about the Lions having deep pockets, a lot of stars brought in, but Plymouth are certainly quite a weighty franchise as well in that respect, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to let Plymouth off the hook. We talk about Plymouth being underdogs, but if you look at budgets, they're probably top 3 in budgets. And for both of these teams today, I look at it as a must-win for both of them.
Interesting. Well, the Lions have the #1 ranked offense in the league. The Raiders have the #1 ranked defense in the league. So one of them will have to give up some ground tonight. If we look at how the teams made it here to the final, Kieran, London have had demonstrably the tougher route here, haven't they?
Very much so. But, you know, the way the league has been going this season, every route's a tough route. So I think like there's not a clear-cut, you know, easy route, hard route in this particular option.
Interesting hearing comments from Deandre Liggins saying that every team, when they're playing London, treats it like their Super Bowl, was how he described it.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of welcome to Newcastle Eagles life. That's been our life for the past 20 years. You know, it's everyone's Super Bowl, everyone's BBL Cup final, but now it's London's turn.
Now, it's not exactly been plain sailing for the Raiders either. Sheffield and Worcester, 2 form teams very much in the BBL over the last 7 or 8 weeks. Surrey ran them close in the first leg of the semi-final. It was a comfortable aggregate win in the end, though. These two have played each other 4 times this season. The Lions lead the series 3-1. 2 of those 3 wins, though, by 6 points or less. And 2 of those games early on in the season. It's a very different Raiders side we're seeing now, Drew.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at these 4 games, I feel like it's nothing. It has nothing to do about today. When you play in a cup final, all bets are off. But I think that the one thing we can guarantee is going to be a great game. Like you mentioned, 3 out of those 4 games have been by 6 points or less.
Big name BBL stars in both camps. Lots of capable players in terms of turning it on in the big occasion. But in the Lions, Deandre Liggins, and the Raiders, Ashley Hamilton, both sides have players that are very much in the MVP running.
He's a great leader on and off the floor, and I think the guys look up to him in a lot of different ways.
Oh, Hamilton strokes the dream.
Played at the Cleveland Cavs, played with LeBron James, an elite talent.
Lobbed up, lobbed back. There's Liggins who jams it in.
I'm mic'd up, baby.
Deandre Liggins is one of those players, all it takes is one shot and nothing but net.
We good.
The season going well so far. We win the games, but one game we play well, then the next game we kind of drop off and things like that. But I think we're coming along, and Sunday will be a big opportunity for us to move to a bigger step.
Coming into the season, we knew we wanted to build something special for this club. We wanted to build a winning culture. We wanted to be part of something bigger than this. But we kind of underachieved to this point. You know, we dropped some games in the cup. We dropped some games in the league, obviously. If we don't do that, then we're sitting in a better position in the league, and then, you know, potentially we're playing for a cup final too.
Of course, the big news is that London are going to be missing a number of players because of COVID-19 protocols. So just 7 players representing for the Lions.
Like, I'm sitting at home watching it, multiple players having to isolate, and not only that, like, we was well prepared to go into Europe competition. For me, it's part of the reason why I came here, to play in the Europe competition and stuff like that. But to have that bad luck at that time, that really hurt us.
We've had to deal with quarantining and guys being out, guys missing time, as most teams have. So it's been a lot of adjustments, but it's definitely a resilient team. It's a good bunch of guys, and we stayed together, win or lose. Good times, bad times. That it's a good group.
I love that personnel they got on their team. They tough and gritty. They got good talent on their team. They play together. They gel well, and everybody know their role.
For me, really, I look at our team. I look at guys like a guy like Andrew who hasn't even been able to be out there. Our Americans, our young guys. That we have a lot of talent in-house that's really building and that's growing. And I feel like given the opportunity, any of these guys, could shine and have MVP moments.
Ware fires up for 3, and he didn't even think about it.
No team can beat us in the BBL. We only can beat ourselves. We got a fire in us.
It's a talented team, well coached. A lot of experience, not just on the court, but on the bench. I think Vince has been to a ton of finals. A lot of talent, a lot of experience.
Everybody is confident based on people knowing each other now. We know what we're going to get out of Dirt. We know we're going to get out of Justin. We got a lot of guys who can score on the team, so I just try to find them guys and motivate them guys and give them guys confidence to get open shots.
And a huge dunk from Towers.
When you see those names, you hear depth. You hear a team that is capable of attacking you in many different aspects, in many different ways. That team was built to, I think they said they want to win everything. Ambitious, tip my hat to them, but we're here to win too.
Every team going to play good against us because we up here, you know what I'm saying? We the team that everybody want to beat.
We're excited, and what better team to face in the finals in London? I know a lot of people are going to have eyes on the game. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to the club, a lot to the players. Come in here and do this for the team. So, we just want to stay focused and, show our best face on the day.
We got to demolish our opponent. Every game we got to get better.
As long as we go out there and we focus on what we need to do, we'll be okay.
They're going to come out with some fire. We got to find a way to frustrate them, and we can beat them, and we'll be holding that trophy out.
As a player with NBA pedigree, he played with LeBron at the Cavs. Deandre Liggins has been an absolute revelation this season, hasn't he?
Oh, he's been tough. Firstly, he brings that experience. He's played on a level that everybody on this court has aspired to get to, and he's the only player in the league that has an opportunity to not only win MVP, but Defensive Player of the Year as well, so he can get it done on both ends of the floor.
Really interesting talking about how tough it was to be at home for the Cup final. That's real motivation for all of those Lions players who were unable to be in the final last time.
It was actually great to hear that, because that's exactly right. It's as a player, as a team, you're always looking for those little added incentives, those little motivational factors. That is clearly on their mind, and they want to take care of business. But for me, it's the European thing. A lot of these players were brought in for Europe. That is no longer an option. This is all they have. So silverware is crucial.
Ashley Hamilton's had a similarly impressive season to Deandre Liggins, carrying an injury coming into today's game, so we're not sure how much of him we will see, but he is suited up. He is going to be taking part. He's part of the successful Team GB side as well that's had such a great run in terms of Eurobasket. What does he bring to this Raiders side, Drew?
That's been the million-dollar question, is where's Ashley Hamilton been? As we see, he's suited up today, but he's Plymouth Raiders' best isolation player, best bucket getter. So, but saying that, they've been able to average 18 points a game in his absence, so it'd be interesting to see the integration today of Ashley Hamilton.
If we take a look at the head-to-head between the two, strong shooting for both, although Liggins demonstrably stronger from the three-point range, both effective off the boards. Liggins averaging 6 assists a game. He talks about the unselfish approach that the Lions have. That's not easy when there are a lot of big names to keep happy.
Yeah, absolutely. But if anybody can do that, is Deandre Liggins, because he's a star that's not fixated on scoring. He's completely content with sharing the ball, and he can handle the ball as well. He can insert the offense of the London Lions. So he's Mr. Do-It-All.
That's testament to coaching as well, because there are so many stars in this Lions side. We don't want to be a team that's only good on paper, was one of the quotes Liggins gave this week. Have we seen their full potential yet, do you think?
I don't think we have. The thing for me, and he kind of alluded to it in his little talk earlier on, they sometimes play to the level the teams are playing against, and that can get them into a lot of trouble, especially down the stretch. So I think they have another level to bring to this, and you know, if they reach that level, it'll be quite scary.
Not to take anything away from the Newcastle win, Drew, but the Lions roster for the Cup final was very different to the one we're seeing on screen today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure London is a lot more comfortable with this roster. They got more, you know, they lead the league in offense. So, you know, going into that Cup final, they were a little bit hindered. But at the end of the day, you know, it's part of the game. It's happened to a couple teams, so we'll see what they do at full strength today.
The problem with the deep roster, it's great to have if you're a coach, but keeping everybody happy is the challenge.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I think having players like Deandre Liggins on the squad, who are a very team-first type of player, it makes it a lot easier to kind of integrate that.
Luckily, they've got one of the most experienced coaches in the business, keeping them all in check, and he's now courtside with Mike Tuck.
Vince, great jacket, first off, and second off, great to see you back in another final. How does it feel to be here?
Well, hey, Mike, it's tremendous to be here. You know, we're still in a pandemic. I think everybody understands how serious that is. And for basketball to be playing at this time is a credit to so many people. Sport England, the British Basketball League, Basketball England, British Basketball Federation. And I mean that seriously because it's tremendous for us to have the game going on.
One of the last times we saw you was in the Cup final where nearly half the team was quarantined and watching from home. How does it feel to be back with another chance at silverware at full strength?
You know, I'm just happy for the guys who were quarantined at home having to watch this. I can't actually put myself in that position where I would have been at home watching my team playing, knowing that they're short-handed. It must have been tough. But, you know, for us, it's where we expect to be. We expect to be in all the finals. We expect to be trying to win a trophy, to put ourselves in the best position to win. And I'm glad that we're here because if we weren't here, we wouldn't have an opportunity to win.
You enter this final with a 3-1 record over the Raiders in the regular season. How does that play into today's game?
Oh, not when Coach PJ has coached 1,000 games, right? No, it means nothing. This is a final. This is a one-off situation. You know, some of my guys haven't been to a final, you know, as a lot of the guys on the Plymouth team have. I mean, obviously some of the ex-Royals players who are out there with some of my guys who are ex-Royals players and my Lions players. So it's a kind of reunion of the London boys. But I think what's gone before has no bearing on what I expect to be a really, really hotly contested game.
Unfortunate timing of a positive COVID test meant you weren't able to travel to Europe for the Euro Cup. Does making a final help make up for that?
I'm not sure anything's going to make up for that because this team was put together to go to Europe. You know, that's our number one priority. Anything else that happens is a bonus. And that was taken away from us. I think, you know, you look at the way we've performed since then, I think we've been a little bit up and down because of that disappointment. But I feel like I've worked hard, the rest of my team have worked hard to try and get our guys refocused and appreciate what we're playing for now and actually enjoy this moment and go out there and enjoy this final.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Nat.
Coach McCauley always dresses the part, of course, for Cup finals.
I was thinking my chinos was something, you know, and now I see Vince McCauley's jacket.
It stole your thunder. Stole your thunder. It's been mixed form for the Lions in their last 5 games. League defeats to the Sharks and, of course, most recently to the Raiders, which really hands the title momentum Leicester's way. Not ideal timing, that loss, Drew.
Yeah, it's not ideal timing, but saying that, that's not a loss that London will be that upset about because it's against the team that's #1 in the league. But like I mentioned before, going into this game, any previous form is irrelevant. It's about, can you get the job on the day? Can you get the job done on the day?
Let's take a look at the Plymouth players that are trying to get the job done on the day. Very much the form team of the BBL right now, as we've said. They've won 12 of the last 13 in all competitions. They're missing one of their stars as well, in Andrew Lawrence. He could be fit for the playoffs, incidentally. Ricky Mcgill is their floor general, and he's in blistering form, isn't he, Kieran? Former teammate of Deandre Liggins.
Yeah, and I love watching him play. You know, I think he's coming to his own. He's taking more of a leadership role, but he's another one who can create his own shot, and that can be scary. You know, when you're playing with confidence and you can create your own shot, you never know what. You know, it's so hard to guard. He's absolutely
playing with confidence, I should say, directing them all. One of British basketball's all-time greats. He celebrated his 1,000th game coaching in the BBL this season. Paul James, no stranger to the big occasion, and he's courtside with Mike.
PJ, your 11th final as coach. How does it feel to be here?
It feels great to be here, you know. It was my 4th team, so I'm really excited to be here and trying to bring some silverware home to Plymouth.
And the million-dollar question today is, Ashley Hamilton has sat out for 4 games. We see him warming up. Is he playing today?
He's going to play, and that's a real dilemma for me right now, because we've been playing really well without him. At some part in the game, he's going to have to play, and he's going to have to do a job for us in other areas. So, yeah, he'll be out there at some point.
And you guys have had success without him on the floor. Who's stepped up in his absence?
Well, I think you look at Ricky Mcgill first and foremost. When he first came in, he struggled a little bit, but now he really is a floor general for us. He's the driving force behind our team now. He's getting everybody else involved, and everybody's having fun right now and really got everybody's backs.
The Raiders are undefeated in this gym so far this season. You used to coach here. Are you guys comfortable in here or what?
We're really comfortable. Yeah, it's like playing home from home, really. We've played here 4 times this season. We've won 4 times. Hopefully we can make it a 5th time today.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Back over to you, Nat.
One of the greats in the BBL, of course, PJ. London, a fast-paced team. They can get up and down the floor very well. We talked about how excellent this Plymouth defense is. How will those two things square off today? Something's got to give there, Drew.
Yeah, well, that's the exciting thing about today is that both teams are on the opposite sides of the spectrum. So which team will be able to impose their will, their style on the other team?
What do you think, Kieran, the most important head-to-heads will be this afternoon?
Well, for me, Plymouth are phenomenal at getting to the free throw line, which completely slows the game down and for London. So if Plymouth can be aggressive, get to the free throw line, that would be the big difference. But then not to knock London's defense is relentless. If they go in that full court press and if Plymouth can't get the ball over half court, it's a completely different story.
We talked about pressure. You called it a must-win game for both sides. When you think about the start of the season, of course, COVID impacted the Lions season, not just in terms of the Cup final, but Europe as well. But this is a team that has been built and assembled to win it all. So how much pressure is on their shoulders in light of those comments made at the start of the season?
I mean, like Deandre said in the VT, they're everyone's Super Bowl. That's because they're the #1 team in the league with the biggest budget. So they're expected to put silverware in the cabinet at the end of the season. Not 1, not 2, maybe 3. 4 is out of the question, but all the pressure lies on their shoulders. Can they get the job done?
Is there more pressure because the WBBL side won just a moment ago?
They were watching them celebrate. So it's in the back of their minds. They want to make the franchise proud, and obviously seeing London Lions win previously, that's definitely going to be a deciding factor.
Okay, final thoughts. Which way is this one going to go? Which way are you leaning, Drew?
It's tough. I mean, my heart is telling me Plymouth. I'm a former Raider. I bleed a little bit of green,
Watch what you say.
I gotta go with London just because I can't see a scenario with them losing because they can't lose today.
Drew Lasker, I thought you were a man that would always go with his heart over his head. What about you, Kieran?
It's definitely Glasgow Rocks. No.
Is the correct answer. Well played. All right, then looks like this one is almost ready to get underway. So let's get back over to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much. Yes, good answer, Kieran. I like that. Well, it is trophy final day. London Lions have celebrated once already. Can they celebrate again, or will the Plymouth Raiders be standing tall? We have a son of Plymouth sat next to me in Ant Row. You followed this team, and they've had their ups and their downs, and they're definitely on the way back up now, and with the investment that they've had, these are the days that they are expecting.
Of course, I think there's so much more optimism now in the Southwest, thanks to those things that you just took over, new management, new takeover, but new players as well, which I think comes with that new expectation. They've got a proven coach in Paul James as well, so things are pointing in a positive direction for them. But look, Dan, you commented, they've had the heartbreak, haven't they? You look at the last 5 major finals they've made, they've won 1 and lost 4. So, the Plymouth fans are craving for that joy now. They did their time. They've been on the losing end or the runner-up end, and they're due a win.
They have some terrible records in finals, the Raiders. But all of that doesn't affect this team, doesn't impact this team. And it's the interesting thing, Paul touched on it in his pre-game, and Drew talked about it, is Hamilton's been out for 4 games. He's their leading scorer, and yet their scoring average went up by 18 points per game. So they showed that there are other guys who can step up. Mcgill, particularly in the 2 semi-finals against the Scorchers. And actually, now that he comes back in, you've got to reintegrate his offense without taking away from the guys who've stepped up in between.
That could be a very good thing, and that naturally, Hamilton comes back in, he slots in great, and he just adds to that offensive power. However, it can be discombobulated into what's already working. If it's not broken, don't fix it, and it has worked for them in recent games. They've been playing very good basketball, and they've come up with some big wins. So really interesting to see how that pans out. And it's not just a scoring, Dan. I think Hamilton is an MVP candidate player in this league, and he's been their best player, not just their best scorer.
Well, the London Lions, quite simply, were put together to win trophies. They, as Vince says, were put together to compete in Europe, and unfortunately circumstances prevented them from being able to do that in the way that they would have liked. But these are the days they expected to be at, and to be fair to them, they've reached both finals. They still need to win them, though, and this is a team that has to come and bring it today.
I quite like how Drew put that as a must-win for both teams, and I think the must-win is a little bit more exaggerated here at this London Lions. I think you're right, Dan, they've made it to finals, and I think their exit of the European Cup competition does place heavier emphasis now on the success in the domestic league. You know, and I think if they can win this trophy here today, it will give them that piece of silverware going into the playoffs and the final stages of the league.
Well, you imagine that those who were not in the cup final will have that extra fire in the belly that you can't really buy. As Justin Robinson, he is the leader of his team, and let's have a look at those who lead in the numbers this season. And Dirk Williams is the leading scorer for the Lions, and it just shows how many different offensive weapons that they have. That on any given night, it might be Dirk, it might be somebody else.
Yeah, and we've seen this time and time again, haven't we? And you know, you've got MVP caliber players on this team alone. You could rattle through the list here. But what they do is they bring something different. So as you said, if Dirk Williams is having a big scoring night, you've got Liggins there controlling the defensive tempo, making those big intangible plays. So they've got a number of areas there that they can hurt you. And a returning MVP in Justin Robinson.
Two teams who can certainly put the ball in the basket on occasions. The key for me, the three-point shooting. London take the most, they make the most, they do it at the best percentage. That is what Plymouth have to take away, and Plymouth are very good at doing that. But we will find out whether they can today or not very shortly. Tip-off coming soon, right after this break. Welcome back to Worcester as the two teams get ready for the tip-off in the British Basketball League Trophy Final. Let's take a look at the starting fives for the two teams, starting with the London Lions, and no surprises, this is the five that Vince usually puts out if they're all fit and available.
It is. I think the only question you have is the centre position there, just because of the depth they've got in the area, but Chris Tauia has sort of made a right for himself to own that. But look, you've got your calibre in Robinson there, and Liggins, the man that can do it all, supported by Williams and Parker's offensive arsenal.
And let's have a look at the starting five for the Plymouth Raiders, and the interesting thing for them is they've got this different lineup now with Hamilton back in the lineup but still coming off the bench. So you've got Will Neighbour in the starting spot, really stretches it at the 4.
Yeah, this is one of their best offensive fives. This is a defensive-oriented team, but this is their best, I'd say, offensive production team. So you've got Archirobia inside there, very, very useful in there. Mike Morcell has been fantastic for them since his addition into this club and has just boosted this overall offensive production.
And we take the knee to show the opposition to racism and inequality wherever it is in all its forms. Here we go then. BBL Trophy Final 2021 is underway, and it is the London Lions who will start with the opening possession. Justin Robinson bringing it forward, and here's Parker looking to attack straight away at Neighbour and getting to the basket for 2.
The Lions would really like that matchup there. Orlando Parker incredibly gifted there, and you would look at Will Neighbour not as confident down there on that block, and Orlando Parker takes full advantage of that early.
Here's Porter Bunton driving in hard off the glass, doesn't go. London in transition, Liggins to Robinson. Gets into the paint, little rearrange from Justin Robinson for 2.
2 early scores for this London Lions team, and what that does is it gives you that confidence nice and early.
Here's Neighbour for 3, knocks it down. First points of the game for the Raiders.
Well, they've went at Will Neighbour on the defensive end, but what they've done is they've slept on him on the offensive end, and Will Neighbour can certainly hurt you from beyond the 3-point perimeter.
Liggins. Tauia all on his own, almost like he's running a layup line there.
Oh, they got a little bit too aggressive there in the corner, and the defense trying to double him.
Quickly at the other end, Morcell laying it in for 2.
Oh, the game is sped up quite dramatically, and Plymouth Raiders were able to get a quick 2 there on the break.
And that's when Morcell's at his best, when he's out there in transition.
Well, as you hear, Drew Lasker has joined us in the commentary booth, and well, I'll ask you the question in a second because we're late shot clock here. Liggins step back long 2, strings it on the shot clock buzzer. But Mike Morcell, of course, a teammate of yours in Newcastle last year, missed the final because he went home because of all of the issues around. It was the day before lockdown as it happened in the end. Here's Dirk Williams out in transition with the flush.
That's what this London Lions team can do, and he is a clear candidate who you do not want that to happen. Dirk Williams, hands in the passing lane, finishes with a dunk.
Here's a long 2 from Neighbour. Lightning pace to this game in the first 2 minutes. Not loose by Archirobia, but back to Robinson. We're going to work, comes back the other way, rims out. Oh, there's no pause in this game. Well, they keep leaving Neighbour open. That's a dangerous option. Doesn't go, though.
Lions got away with one there. They were really aggressive on that pick and roll.
Liggins driving to the foul. It feels like about 5 minutes ago that I asked you a question, Drew, but the foul at least gives us a break. Mike Morcell, obviously, he went home, didn't play in that trophy final. Here he is a year later, new team in the trophy final. Real opportunity for him to show what he can bring on the big stage.
Yeah, I think that's the narrative that's been kind of missed here, is that Mike was one of 3 guys who decided to leave early ahead of coronavirus last year, 371 days ago to be exact. And how special would that be for him if he was able to lift that trophy at the end of the day? Because I know it must have hurt him to sit at home and see us his guys, his teammate not being able to be there and to lift the trophy outside of his presence.
Of course, the issue that weekend was the potential closing of the borders. So it was like, if you didn't go, you might not get home.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot has happened in the last 12 months since then. Here he is, Mike Morsell. Mcgill, mid-range, off the mark, good rebound. Ocherobia just gets the roll.
That's what he does.
Good start for him as well to get involved early. They don't always look to go to him early in games, so Mike Ocherobia feel confident to get in that early bucket.
Well, Robinson attacking in the pick and roll. Doesn't score, but the long outlet pass is thrown away. Williams, space for three. Doesn't go.
That's what you want to see. Two players fighting for the rebound.
There's Ocherobia on the pick and roll, and the foul is going to be on Parker. And well, I just get the sense that this pace is favouring London. If this gets into a track meet up and down and the score gets up to 100, that's the way London like to play.
Yeah, I agree with you. In order for Plymouth to win, they want to keep this game in the 70s because London have about 5 or 6 guys that can score 20 in this game, whereas you look at Plymouth, they got 3 max that you can see scoring 20 plus. So Plymouth is going to want to slow this game down, and they can do it this way by getting to the free throw line.
I think with the speed of the game as well becomes errors with teams that are not comfortable with this pace. And Plymouth Raiders, they average 15.4 turnovers a game, which is only second worst in the league to Glasgow Rocks. So I think Plymouth don't want that fast-paced game because you're more likely to make more errors, and therefore the turnovers rack up, and London lines of feed off that.
Foul called on Porter Bunton chasing Dirk Williams round the screen.
And I'm not sure how this is coming across on the television, but being here live, both of these teams are really locked in. I mean, especially Liggins, you can see it in his eyes that he's missed playing in that Cup final in January.
Just to underline your points as well, Ro, is they lead the league. Oh, Ocherobia throws it out. Well, you're used to Prince eBay on the back line. Ocherobia showing his block game.
Well, I'm sure he sees enough of it in practices on the receiving end of those Prince eBay blocks, and he wanted to get a little bit of the action there.
Well, that's good news for Plymouth that Ocherobia was blocking shots, and then you got eBay subbing in at 2 blocks per game. That looks good for their defense tonight.
Well, the key for me in this game is how London do on the three-point line. London, talking about it, best three-point shooting team in the league as the 2 shot blockers swap places. And Plymouth are actually best in the league at three-point shooting percentage against. So teams shoot badly against them. Part of that reason is the big back line. So you flush, you can be aggressive chasing out of them because you know you've got shot blockers behind you if they go past you.
Exactly. eBay's a guard's dream because you can get a little bit closer to your defender because you know he'll erase mistakes back there on the back line.
Dirk Williams out in transition to the finger roll. And he's got a couple of early runouts.
So difficult to guard because he'll pick up his dribble and just take off and figure it out while he's in the air because he's got that ability to just glide to the basket.
Yeah, when you're learning the game as a kid, they say never take off without knowing what you're going to do with it. But he is so athletic that he can take off. He's got plenty of time to think about, well, shall I change this? Shall I dunk it? Shall I go for the finger roll?
He's actually my MVP sleeper today just because of that reason. He can get off into the break, and we know in finals shooting percentages are a little bit down, but I think Dirk is going to be able to get rhythm by getting out there on the break, and he'll be able to knock down those shots later on in the game.
Well, he's the early leader in efficiency. What a Bunton. Back to Mcgill. Morsell driving along, no way through. Liggins got a block there. Here's Liggins. Thought about the transition 3, turned it down. Parker is open. Ripped away by Mcgill. stepped out of bounds.
You see that called about 2-3 times a game.
You feel like Plymouth had numbers there as well. They had the advantage. London Lions were scrambling to get back. But that good old British basketball sideline out of bounds was came in clutch there for the London Lions defense.
Parker from behind the arc knocks it down. First three-pointer of the game for the London Lions.
It was tough. The contest wasn't that aggressive, but it was there. But Orlando Parker didn't matter. Knocks it down.
And that's where it's dangerous. London have about 6 or 7 more guys who can do that.
Dirk Williams diving on the floor. He saw that the behind-the-back dribble was a little bit farther away from Porter Bunton than he wanted. He went after it. And because Porter Bunton got there first, Dirk going underneath him gets called for the foul.
Porter Bunton's an X-factor player for this Plymouth Raiders team. He's a guy that can get 10 points in one quarter or have a really big half, and then the criticism would be he goes missing sometimes, so that they're really going to need him to put in a full shift today. He's extremely talented offensively. He can explode and, like I said, get points in a hurry.
Hamilton into the game for the first time. The pass was, I think, intended for him, but it goes to Biario instead. Here is Hamilton. Under pressure of the shot clock as well as the defense, misses everything.
And that's when you haven't played in a month. You could just tell he had no rhythm from that first dribble.
Of course, he was the MVP against the Lions in the trophy final a couple of years back as Robinson knocks down the long jump shot, and Paul James forced into calling an early timeout here. His team already 11 points down, trailing by 18 points to 7.
Drew, you're, I think, on the money with what you said with that level of focus that you just saw after Robinson hit that shot. Timeout's called. No celebration. All of the players just walk straight to the bench there, like they've got a mission. They've got a job to do today, and they're not even close to finishing it. Very focused outlook.
Yeah, they understand what's on the line. They know they got to get this trophy today.
Well, Paul James calling a halt to proceedings. The issue here is probably more about the 8 points than the 7 points. 7 is not enough in 6 minutes. Let's be clear about that. But 18 is way too many points to be giving up in such a short period of time. And it's almost impossible to keep pace with London because, as you should rightly say, they've got loads of guys that can do that.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that in the pregame, is that London's the best offensive team. Plymouth is the best defensive team. Which style will prevail today? And, you know, that's the million-dollar question.
Well, Paul James, as Mike Tuck said at the top, in his 11th final as a coach, and if you include the years before the BBL, he played in 11 finals as a player. He had a couple as an assistant coach. He even had one as I think he was player coach of Thames Valley B in Division 3 at the end of his playing career. So a man who, it's fair to say, knows what it's all about on the big occasion. Here's Porter Bunton driving through, and the foul is called. Liggins isn't convinced, but it's his number. No, it's Parker's number, in fact, that's shown to the table.
Wow, he's got a lot of ball there, but
Parker wasn't there. I'm sure he signaled 2 to the... Oh, no, it is Liggins, my mistake. It was Liggins' foul. I think it was the 2 for the 2 free throws that I saw rather than the number 2. As Parker's not even on the court.
And like you talked about, Ant, Porter Bunton's going to have a big game today if Plymouth is going to be successful. You talked about, you know, he has up and down halves. Against Surrey, he had 18 points in the first half, and I'm thinking, oh, he might have a 30-point game, and then he finished with 19.
Yeah. There's Liggins. Robinson around the high screen, back to Parker. And there's eBay changing shots as well. Don't know if he got a piece, he certainly changed it. Oh, but he dropped it at the other end.
And that's the trade-off, isn't it?
Let's see if he gets a piece of it. Oh, he does get a little finger on it.
That's a block.
I wonder if the table got that.
I know a lot of players in the league would be running to the table saying, make sure you got that.
He has got a block on the stat sheet, so that's the important thing. Goes get it corrected afterwards. Oh, a little behind Ware, keeps it in play. Feeding Parker, who throws it back. Ubiaro in transition. Ubiaro, Ware chasing back. Call for the foul, and Ubiaro will shoot 2.
It looked like the offense broke down there from London, and Raiders pounced on it first. And Ware picked up the foul there on the too much contact on the block attempt.
5 fouls in the quarter on the Lions on 5 different players. These are the 2 teams that lead the league in fouls committed, by the way, but Raiders lead the league in getting to the free throw line. And get 2 much needed points. Liggins. Ware mid-range. Rattles in.
You've seen Prince eBay come across there as well. He was ready to challenge that shot, but Liggins was wise to it and elected to pass the ball, and Ware was able to hit that baseline jump shot.
Liggins always making the right play.
Nice drive to the basket and the finger roll for Ricky Mcgill.
Good sign for the Plymouth Raiders for him to be aggressive and attacking the rim.
Williams from behind the arc, all screen for Dirk Williams. 7 early points for him.
Wow, that was pretty deep, and Upiaro, a relatively good contest, but Dirk Williams is just in that mood today.
Those 2 layups in transition is what got that shot going for Dirk Williams, gave him a little bit of rhythm.
Well, the Lions have challenged everything at the rim here today. They've got fouls in the process, but what it does signal is there's nothing easy at the ring. If you're going to go to the basket, somebody's going to be there.
Setting the tone. Either you're going to get fouled hard or you're going to have a tough finish.
But again, 6th different player to commit a foul. And we talk a lot about the depth of talent that they have. I mean, one of the reasons they lead the league in fouls is because they can.
Exactly. I mean, how many do they have over there? Is that legal? I see about 30 of them over there.
As long as there's a jet big enough, the roster can be big.
Yeah, the have and have-nots.
Beastie into the game for the first time for Plymouth. Liggins cross to Ware, steps into the 3, and he knocks it down. Kevin Ware, too good a shooter to be that wide open.
It's a really good pass because Liggins hasn't passed straight to his chest there. He's passed it in an area where Kevin Ware's literally had to step into that shot, which makes him look so much more comfortable and follows through with a nice hit.
Dusha bringing it across half court. Dusha trying to thread the needle, gets it to eBay. Couple of bites at it, can't score though. Ward Hibbert pulling up at the free throw line with the jump shot.
We've seen this time and time again. Josh Ward Hibbert just comes into the game and just injects instant energy, whether that be on the offensive end or the defensive end, but there's no fear there in that pull-up.
You see how much arc he got on that shot, though.
eBay inside, jams it in.
This time there was no mistake from Prince eBay. Didn't want to lay it in and elect a potential miss. Puts the ball in.
Lions trying to put 30 on the board here in the first quarter. They have the final shot.
This play is called 1-4 low. Everybody get out the way.
And let me shoot it. Kevin Ware, front rims. And that will do it for a high-octane first quarter. The London Lions will be much the happier. They put the ball in the basket on a regular basis, and they are off and running here in the trophy final. End of the first. It's the London Lions 28, the Plymouth Raiders 17. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to Worcester, where the Plymouth Raiders are about to get things underway in the second quarter, trailing already by 11. Mcgill had to come all the way to the halfway line to get that possession. Gets himself some room, misses the shot though. Beastie thought he had the rebound, but it's Williams coming away with it. Williams up in the air, and well, for once it didn't pay off for him.
No, it didn't. He was looking for the shot initially. It wasn't there, and it was in between like a dump down inside to Chris Towier.
I think he was expecting somebody to be in the lane behind him, but they weren't there, and he realized he couldn't throw it that way. eBay trying to use his strength. Travel.
Difficult situation there. Chris Towier stood strong. Made things very difficult there for eBay, and pivot foot slid right across there, causing the travel.
And that's what Plymouth has gotten away from over the last couple of weeks, is posting eBay. They've gotten the most on drop-offs, getting them moving in ball screens. If they're trying to post them up, I'm not too sure how successful they're going to be.
He must have a little cut in there. The referee's just had a look at his wrist and sent him to the bench. So Ocharobia checks in for him. Liggins driving hard. Offensive foul for the push-off on Deandre Liggins.
Good defense there from Mike Morsell. Stayed in front of him, and you can't help as well how much of an impact that is. Without no crowd or the noise of the noises the defender makes, it's exemplified, which psychologically it has to input something into the referee's mind.
Dusha going hard, but too hard. By the way, that was Liggins' second foul, first player in the game to get two. Robinson, Dusha in front of him. Rocks him back, gets him off the mark. Good hands from Ward Hibbert.
Great hustle.
Yeah, he will be an absolute pest down there. If he's mismatched on a big, he'll take that opportunity and relish the challenge.
Dusha into the lane, throws it straight to Liggins. Here's Ware in transition. Ware back to Ward Hibbert. Can't convert. Liggins, Ware can't poke it back in, and should have been 2 points there for the Lions. Ends up a Plymouth ball.
Really good energy there from the Raiders and good resistance there. Should have been a converted 2. But Beastie battling and staying with it.
As we see Will Neighbor about to check in, I was just about to say how long PJ rides this lineup, because it's not much of an offensive threat with this 5 here.
Well, here's somebody who is an offensive threat, trying to create something for himself. And he does draw the foul, Ricky Mcgill.
I think you're right, Drew. In that set, that you're going to need your Ricky McGills and Mike Morcell to be more creative with the offense, because it's not the most talented offensive unit at the moment. But, you know, on the other side, adversely, you know, it's been 2 minutes now into this quarter, and London Lions have not scored the ball yet. So, you know, maybe PJ's onto something here, because they needed to stop the bleeding. You know, 28 points in the quarter for London Lions, and there's no way they can compete at that pace. But what they've done is they've made things a bit chippy-choppy and disrupted the offense of the London Lions.
It's a 0-0 here in this quarter. Interestingly, Neighbor checked in for Ocharobia there, so he'll be at the 5, which makes them. He's 6'10", so he doesn't. You know what I mean? But they started him at the 4, is what I'm trying to say, and now he's moved over to the 5. So it means the other guys out there, Marcel, will be at the 4. It's a smaller unit.
But both teams have stretch 5s out there with Shane Walker, so pretty much evens itself out.
Liggins, he can play anywhere on the court he wants to, driving in. Out to Ward Hibbert for 3, great pass. And I thought for a second it might bobble in, but it doesn't. Morcell in transition, he's on his own. And he gets it back. Mcgill in the corner for 3, knocks it down. First field goal of the second period, and Vince McCauley wants to talk things over as the Raiders have cut the gap to 7.
All comes as a result of another defensive stop by this Plymouth Raiders team, and they pushed the basketball. It wasn't the most fluent offensive transition, but Morcell regained control and the ball got moved, and Ricky Mcgill knocks down the 3.
And that was my question coming to this game, was the integration of Hamilton and how that affected Ricky Mcgill and Porter Bunton. And you can see earlier, I wasn't worried about Hamilton because he's experienced, so he will know how to implement himself. But I was worried about the inexperience of those two, of when you get your guy back, it's like, oh, you know, I don't want to step on his toes sort of thing. And you can see both of those guys got off to a slow start.
Well, good pass, found his man. You can see Robinson desperately trying to get there, but not in time. And the 3 is good. And for Plymouth, they are 2 of 3 from behind the arc. They've done most of their work really going at the basket. A few makes and also 7 free throws.
And Plymouth has to be a little bit happy because it's not as bad as it probably feels. You look, watching this game, you think London is up 15-20, but they're only down by 7. So that's encouraging for the Plymouth Raiders.
Liggins. Off the iron. Walker trying to knock it away, commits the foul.
It's a really tough cover for Beastie as well, to guarding Deandre Liggins on an island there by himself. But he's done a really good job of just making it difficult for Liggins.
See, trying to whack the ball, he whacks Neighbour's arms.
And London has to get back to running their offense. They're fixated on trying to attack these matchups, and their offense is getting a little bit sticky.
Mcgill. For three, Ricky Mcgill, all string. His second triple of the game. He's got 9.
Tough shot though, he's mismatched with Shane Walker, the bigger defender, but sometimes that's how it is. You just make one basket and just the confidence flows. And
Robinson thought he got pushed in the back. The referee didn't. Plymouth run the other way. Neighbor deep three, and suddenly they're all flying in for the Plymouth Raiders. 3 quick 3-pointers. It's a 1-point game.
They got a ball game.
It's contagious. Make one.
Oh, the foul is called. I think Morcell got him clean. I think the foul's going to be on Beastie. It is number 13. But the block from behind, I think, would have been all right. But Beastie goes across.
Well, either way, look, the foul's called, but great defensive unit from this Plymouth Raiders team, and it is going to take a free throw here to break this drought that the London Lions are currently experiencing. You can't tell me you score 28 points in one quarter and then go to this. Something's happened there. That's the defensive intensity by the Plymouth Raiders.
Well, that might be what we're in store for today. We talked about both of these teams' style on the opposite end of the spectrum. So first quarter is about London style. Second quarter is about Plymouth Raiders defensive style, allowing them 0 points right now in 4 minutes.
Well, you say it was going to be broken. He misses the first free throw. Let's see if he can break it the second time around. He's normally a very good free throw shooter, and he does string the second to get London's first point. The first 10 had gone in at the other end of the court in this second quarter. Dusha, shot clock down to 5. Beastie drives in. Lobs it up, doesn't drop. Ball is bobbled about, but Parker comes away with it. London looking to push. Robinson, turns on the Jets. Justin Robinson right down Main Street.
Just seemed to open up for him in the middle there, and yeah, single-handedly drove through the whole team.
Dusha driving in. It's a little bit behind Morcell. He's able to reach it. Beastie under pressure. That's a tough shot. He had to take it with the time about to expire. Williams in the corner, strings the 3, and London's offense is purring now.
That's all it takes. Great push to the basket you want to find in the corner for Dirk Williams, who is the last guy you'd want to leave open in there.
Mcgill dancing, getting to the hole, and scoring for a basket.
Well, that's more like it for the Plymouth Raiders. Before that possession, the last 2 possessions was Ryan Beastie going off the dribble, and I don't think that's on the scouting report.
Robinson into the free throw line. There's few better in the game at that on the pick and roll, pulling up at the free throw line, but comes up with nothing on that occasion. His neighbor with the size mismatch, but they crowded him out. Parker hits the triple. And Paul James wants to talk things over now. 4:13 left in the opening half, and it is back out to 8 in favor of the Lions.
Oh, just like that, and it was a defensive breakdown there from the Raiders team. All that was a simple pick and pop, and you've got to defend it or make things a little bit harder than that. It was a very, very simple, but well-executed play from the Lions there, so I'm sure Coach PJ will want to talk this over.
Well, the Raiders with the first 10 points of this quarter, but 9 of the last 11 have gone to London as it swings back the other way. And that's the problem when you got behind in the first quarter. You've done all that effort to get back, and then suddenly it disappears, and that's what London can do to you.
Yeah, and I think it's more about London. They got back to running a little bit of their offense as opposed to trying to overly seek out these mismatches that they have. And how good is Liggins when he's playing on the ball? I mean, he's 6'8", and if you're open, he's going to find you. He can pass at any angle. All you got to do is have your feet set and knock down the shot. He'll do the rest.
Well, Deandre Liggins was on triple-double watch before the game, and we're keeping a close eye on it now. He's got 6 assists in the first half, and he's got 4 points and 4 rebounds. And he's played every minute of the game so far, and I should imagine he will play most, if not all of them.
Yeah, he's not coming out tonight.
He just does so much, doesn't he? It's not just offense. You know, if you watch him on defense as well, he's long, he's active, he's smart.
Neighbor trying to feed it in. Ball is on the floor, and so too is Parker. Here's Liggins driving hard through the contact, gets the shot away, and he will shoot 2.
That's the concerning thing. Straight out with a timeout. Plymouth Raiders turn the ball over to get that turnover number 7, and as you can see, the turnovers is such an igniter for this London Lions offense. In a matter of seconds, they're down the other end of the floor, either fast break dunking or attacking the rim.
And anybody watching, if you see Liggins high stepping coming down the court, that means that he's feeling really good and he's feeling confident. Obviously, he's on a triple-double watch with 5, 4, and 6 already, and 3 steals as well.
Well, London Lions star Kennedy Leonard was on quadruple double watch at one stage in the women's final. Liggins trying to outpace her numbers even. Dusha. Chirobi's got the mismatch. They can't get it to him in a decent spot. Now they try. Oh, and foul is called. Interested to see which way this one goes, because Robinson seemed to cop it in the head, and he got the foul.
Yeah, I think Chirobi, he's kept the ball high here as well. He's not like he's swinging his oh man, that's a sore one for Justin Robinson, but that's just one of those things. When you're down there with the big men, you've got to watch out for those.
But usually they call that an offensive foul, which is unfair to the big man, because that's what you're taught as a big, as a youth. Keep your hands high, keep your hands high, keep your elbows out.
Chara's agreeing with you on that one. Yeah. So Robinson with the foul using his nose is what I think we came up with on that.
Wow, blood is drawn pretty early in this game. And Mike Cocciarobio will get an opportunity to close this gap. He's perfect from the field so far, 1 for 1 in the field goals, but he is 0 for 2 free throws.
One thing you can guarantee in a Lions final is Vince is going to pull something out of the wardrobe that you haven't seen before, and it's fair to say I've never seen a jacket like that before.
I'm kind of feeling it. It's half daishiki-ish. I like the little circles on it. He's looking good.
Vince McCauley always does look good, but I don't know where he shops, because he doesn't. They don't carry things like that in the places I look for my attire.
Lions 38, Raiders 30. Where? Into the corner, Dangakoto strings the 3.
It's the danger, isn't it? You've got players coming off the bench that can hit that shot, and rotation of the basketball. Raiders defense there was scrambling.
Oof. Crashing out of bounds is Ochirobia.
There does seem to be an element of discombobulation on this offensive team, offensive structure at the moment for the Raiders. That's the 8th turnover now, and players not quite on the same page. And I think Coach PJ is going to have to try and find that 5 that can string together consecutive scores on the offensive end.
Here's Ware for three. Front iron. And that early shot doesn't really give the offensive rebound as much of a chance. Hamilton looking to go to work, takes the contact and will go to the free throw line.
Good job for him, and it's a good sign as well, being reintroduced to this game. It started off pretty dismal for him in this game. Very difficult to just come back and be a force when you come back from injuries. It's not so much the physical requirements, but it's the mental, you know, being out of the game. And like you said, Drew, it's just when you catch the ball, sometimes if you ever caught the ball, you just not know what to do with it. And he's a guy that they need to give them that 16 points a game. So, you know, you get thrust into the deep end. But however, I feel like Ashley Hamilton is one of those guys that can, backs against the wall, you know, find a response.
And Plymouth needs it, as you talked about, Ant. Their offenses look clunky today, and he's their best ISO player. He's their best player that you can just give the ball to and make something happen. So let's see if he's able to build off these free throws.
Well, over the course of the season in all competitions, he's the leading scorer between these two teams, 7th overall.
And you see what those free throws did to Ashley Hamilton, the way he got in those passing lanes. He just had a little bit more juice.
Nice pass from Dangakodo. Lead is back into double figures. In the corner, doesn't go for Neighbor. Here's Ware. Little change of pace to get to the rim. Had it poked away by Porter Bunton. Dangakodo turns it into three.
Huge play there. Almost a breakdown of the play, but Ware was able to recover the ball and finds it to an open Jules Dangakodo in the corner for three again.
Well, I said London Lions had 6 or 7 guys that can make that, and Dangakodo is making it, add 8 to the list.
Well, Hamilton again sensing the moment for his team, that it's a key moment in these last 108 seconds to chip away at this lead and immediately aggressively going to the basket. Hamilton from the free throw line. 12-point game. Nice pass, Liggins to the hole. Beautiful assist from Williams to find him cutting to the basket.
Smart IQ there. He's been denied the basketball the last couple of plays, and all he's done there was look to flash to receive the ball and did a backdoor cut, and wide open there. The concern for Raiders, there was no inside help there.
Oh, it's just away from Ubiaro. Liggins out in transition. Old school layup from Deandre Liggins.
Oh, it's lucky there's no crowd in here. He may have got some booze there. Not dunking it in the open floor, but active hands in the passing lane, and another turnover for this Raiders team.
I think he gets a standing ovation from Kieran Achara for the run-out layup. A nice pass inside and an easy score for Mcgill, who's up to 13.
Good penetration there from Chris Porter Bunton, who's been on the bench for quite a period of this quarter. Going to need him in this game, creating things for himself and for others.
Williams driving hard to the hole. Replies with his own score.
So that's what I feel like you're giving up when Archerobio's not on the floor and Prince Ebay, the middle has just been wide open.
I think, like you said, going in this second half, PJ is going to have to find that 5 or 6, and he's going to have to roll with it.
Mcgill, Porter Bunton sells the fake, takes the three, misses it. They could have done with that. They've got the ball back, though. Hamilton into Neighbor and throws it in quickly enough. Lions have the last few seconds here. Ware will pull up, misses the three. And Neighbor hooks it the length of the court, but that is off the mark. Well, a high-octane first half here at the University of Worcester, but it's the London Lions who have the upper hand, leading as they do by 14.
Yeah, and it's been that was a strange quarter, wasn't it? You felt like the Plymouth Raiders had the majority of the control there, but it's the London Lions who find a way there to stop the drought and then put points on the board. Dang, Akolo coming off the bench there was huge for them hitting those threes.
Well, the Raiders scored 10 of the first 10 points and still lost the quarter by 3, and the reason is the shooting percentages. If the Lions are above 50% from 2-point and 3-point range, you're going to lose.
Yes, 100%. And you felt like there's a period of the time where the game was being switched, and that it was that defensive-oriented game which fits into the Plymouth Raiders game plan. But the shooting finally came out, and the London Lions were able to regrasp control. But I think the concerning thing is for the Raiders as well. They struggled to score late in that quarter, but also defensively they were really poor interiorly. They weren't challenging shots, and there was no help defense.
Let's go down courtside to Nat.
Thanks, Dan. Plymouth then have got a lot of work to do in the second half. If they're going to get back into this game, then Ricky Mcgill is going to be a key player for them. And he's courtside now with Mike.
Ricky, can I get your instant reaction to the first half?
Man, we just ain't come out ready to play. London Lions came out ready to play, so we just got to buckle down, get some stuff on defense. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, you've got the best offensive team going up against the best defensive team. What can you do on defense to slow them down?
We just got to pack in the paint. I mean, they're getting a lot of drives. I mean, we can't help too much because they can shoot too, but we just got to buckle down on defense, to be honest.
What kind of things do you think PJ will be saying to you guys in the locker room at halftime?
We played a bad half. It's probably the worst half we probably played all season. So we just got to come out next half ready to play.
And it wasn't all bad in the first half. You had some real shining moments, knocked down some big shots. Was that a turning point for you guys in that first half?
Yeah, I felt like I got the team going once I started hitting shots. I mean, we just got to come out as a team now. It's a team effort, so everybody just got to give it their all for the last half.
Thanks, Ricky. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Back over to you, Nat.
Plymouth Raiders coming into this game as the form team in the BBL. They've won 12 of their last 13, but they're in a bit of a jam now. Ricky Mcgill, who we've just seen, has been in absolutely brilliant form. He needs a huge half if Plymouth are going to find a way back into this. Analysis, reaction, and discussion on how they might do that coming next. Halftime here in the BBL Trophy Final, and the Lions with a commanding lead at the half, 52-38, and they came into this game absolutely blazing. A lot of contributions from across the court offensively. Plymouth have shown some fight as well, but it is an uphill battle for the Raiders. Three-point shooting so effective on both sides. Look at those numbers. Turnovers, a big issue for Plymouth, almost in double digits there. Those 11 assists for the Lions, incidentally, half of those have come from Deandre Liggins, who's had an impressive first half. It really was a blazing start by the Lions, and that, of course, played very much into their hands in terms of how they wanted to approach this game, because the Raiders, we talked about at the top, Drew, wanted to slow things down and stop this Lions' fast-paced offense.
Yeah, but you can see at the very beginning of the game the level of focusness from the London Lions, and it started with Deandre Liggins. I could see it in his eyes, and the experience from playing in the Cup has also been played in their favor, because if you look at Plymouth, they just don't seem like they're ready for this game, this atmosphere, this environment.
They need a lot more on offense, and if they're going to get a lot more from their offense, Ricky Mcgill has got to be at the absolute core of it. 63 points across the two legs against Surrey, and he, I guess, has looked the most dangerous for Plymouth this afternoon again.
Yeah, I felt that he didn't actually get a lot of touches early on. I think they were looking for neighbour early on, and then all of a sudden they got a spark from him. But when they got the spark from him, then they couldn't get stops from London as well. So it was a terrible combination in the end.
If Ricky Mcgill is going to be the X factor for the Raiders, hard to pick exactly who it is for the Lions, but Dirk Williams will certainly hold his hands up and say he's had a big first half, double-digit points and some clutch plays in that tally, Drew.
Yeah, Dirk Williams was my early MVP favorite going into this game for that simple fact. As you see there, he can get out on the break, and that translates to his three-point shot, which you see there, making it in the corner.
So he's an early MVP candidate. What about Deandre Liggins? Because, of course, he's somebody that we talked a lot about at the start. 6 assists, as I mentioned, in the half. Warmed up at the end in terms of his shooting as well. Nothing too flashy for much of it. Clinical and effective. Such a smart player, isn't he?
Very clinical, and that's what I'm saying. His off-the-ball movement was really good. When he's on the ball, he sees the whole floor. So, he can score. That's a vet finish for me. I really respect that. A lot of people say dunk the ball. Don't dunk it. Put it in the basket and play another year of your career.
Very quickly, Drew, how can Plymouth get back into this and get their offense properly moving in the second half?
Well, they got to do what they came in this game as, the #1 defensive team in the league. And right now, London is shooting better from the three-point and the field more than they are from the free throw line. So Plymouth have to get stops. I think PJ has to shorten up his rotation a little bit and ride with his guys that's going to play.
Play to their strengths is what you're saying. All right, it's going to be an intriguing second half, and we will get to that shortly. Before we do, though, time to look at our favorite plays this week from around the BBL.
It's Crandall again, dumping it off to Lee with the two-handed throwdown.
And your point guard can penetrate straight down the middle of that defense. Good things happen.
Fletcher lobs up the alley-oop, and Gordon looks full of health as he jams it in.
Justin Gordon doing what he does best, flying high and finishing.
7 seconds for Leicester to go here. Needs to get it away on the buzzer. Washington strings it to finish a fantastic third quarter.
Kimball has it. Still Kimball. Kimball gets it off. It's good. 2.2 seconds left to play. Timeout called by the Sharks.
Where the lob, Williams a finish.
Disgusting.
Is the Dirk Williams show here tonight. We're in for a grandstand finish once again. Ross over the top for three. He's got it! Amanda Caron Ross.
I think Heron might have poked it away, actually. Washington for three.
Heron with the follow! Slams down the rebound! Wow!
Crandall pushing.
Oh, behind the back. Gino Crandall, are you kidding me?
That is incredible. All-star play from an all-star player.
I'm trying to work out if there's been a week when Gino Crandall hasn't been in the plays of the week, Drew. I mean, what a sensational season he's having.
I mean, he's phenomenal. But the only thing that I see is we're involved in 2 of those 10 plays, and so we got to get better defensively.
In terms of the Kieran Achara trademarked disgusting player of the week, which way are we going?
It's General Gino. Everything he does is disgusting. You know, he just is so, he's like a wizard with that basketball. It's really fun to watch.
Not Dirk Williams against the Rocks, then. I see you skated.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I've already used that one for the Rocks game. So.
In terms of the second half in this game, we saw the Raiders slow things down as we wanted them, expected they would be able to do to get back into it. And then the Lions went on a run towards the end of the game. It got very close, within 2 points, and the Lions broke away. What changed in terms of the Raiders hauling them in, and what changed again, Kieran, with the Lions running away from it?
Well, the Raiders did exactly what I said earlier on. They attacked the basket, got to the free throw line, but then they slowed down defensively, and it was maybe from a scouting perspective. Jules Dangakodo had 2 massive threes that pulled the lead away. Maybe that wasn't on the focal point on their scout, and they maybe kind of focused a little bit away from that. But there's so many capable players are knocking down that 3 for London. They have to focus on every single player in order to get back into this game.
That strength in depth in terms of the bench really suiting the way the Lions play, of course. Tired legs, let us bring on a fresh pair and keep that fast pace going. All right, then, all to play for here in Worcester. It's a 14-point game, but the Raiders, the most dangerous team in the BBL right now, so they're not going to give up this one without a fight. All the second half action coming next. Welcome back. At the half, the Lions lead the Raiders, but it is all to play for. The second piece of silverware in this BBL season will be decided in the next 2 quarters of basketball, and this one is far from over. Let's get back to Ant and Dan.
Thank you very much, Nat. You get the feeling that the Raiders could do with the sort of start to the third quarter that they had in the second, where they had the opening 10 points of the period, and cut it back to 1. Robinson getting into the lane, and Robinson's actually just thrown me slightly. He must have got blood on his shirt because he's changed his shirt and he's wearing 14 rather than 10. And that's going to be a backcourt violation.
Sorry, Dan, I was just going to say another interesting twist is that Mike Marcel has been relegated to the bench in replacement for Prince eBay.
Well, no, it's Ubiaro's come in for him. Ocherobia started, so eBay's in for him. So a complete change from Paul James from the 5 that started the game. Here is Robinson.
Well, the unit so far, it's been a defensive unit, you know, to 0-2 currently for the London Lions, and this is where we saw the start of the second quarter, and this is how the Raiders were able to close the gap.
Neighbor for 3! Gets them on the board for the second half.
I think it's such a simple formula. Get defensive stops and hit 3-pointers, and that gets you back in the ball game.
I suppose one of the balances is their best defensive unit and their best offensive unit aren't the same guys, so how do you get both working at the same time?
That's the conundrum that Coach Paul James gets paid for.
Yeah. As Liggins knocks down the long 2.
And that's a tough shot, and you know, look, I think if you're Plymouth Raiders, you live with that one. Ubiaro challenged that one, and Liggins just makes a great play.
Ball moves on to Mcgill, and he hits the triple.
There seems to be more continuity with the offense now.
Agree. They look a little bit more fluid. Maybe the nerve is gone. It's second half, and now you know you're down, and you could just play basketball.
3 of 3 for Ricky Mcgill from behind the arc for 16 points, almost with the steal, but Robinson loses it, and it will be a Plymouth ball.
Good energy on the defensive end. You can tell that Ricky Mcgill was on pursuit of that ball, and good hustle.
Plymouth just needs one more guy to come to the party offensively. Obviously, Ricky Mcgill and Will Neighbor in double figures, but everyone else is sitting at 2 or 3 points.
That guy's on the bench for me. I thought Mike Marcel would be that guy. He's the guy that used to get you 15 points a game. And
Ubiaro in the corner for 3.
What a response from this Raiders team. Enzo Ubiaro having a cracking season so far.
Well, he's up to 7 on that trip, and Robinson's lost it again.
This is where things get a little bit tighter, and each mistake becomes a little bit more exemplified, and this is the type of game that Plymouth Raiders want to operate within.
And again, as bad as it feels, Plymouth only down 7 points, so you know that's encouraging in these first 3 minutes of the third quarter.
Mcgill into eBay, he jams it down. They kind of claim that went in, and the referees are going to talk it over. I wonder whether because his hand comes under the net, he's pulled the net, and that's knocked it back out. Let's have a look.
That's a bucket.
At the replay. Because he's grabbed the net, the ball's gone in and then come back out again. I think that's, I don't know whether the referees have seen it, but I think that should be a basket.
They didn't count it.
No, they've not counted it.
This is what I really wish they could ask us, because we have the answer. It's clear as day for us.
It's only come back out because he's pulled the net, and it's sort of run round and come back out. And the reason that's big is because that's 2 points, so chance for a 3-point play, and eBay is a 35% free throw shooter.
That hurts. That hurts. And that's the type of play. Plymouth needed a big play, and that's the type of play that possibly could have got them going.
Well, they'll get another go at it because Tawia stepped into the lane too soon. That hitch, I don't think, helps him. Well, they get an offensive rebound. And Mcgill goes in, and he's good stand from Parker, and the Lions getting ball back. And that's one of them where the Raiders could be 5 points down here.
Yeah, look, they don't get comfortable.
Oh, they've turned it over. Unbelievable. Mcgill to the basket this time. They finally get their points. And Vince McCauley has seen enough. 3 minutes into the third quarter. He's called for another timeout.
That's a tough finish too from Ricky Mcgill, just aggressive in that attack of the rim.
And we got to give some credit to Coach Paul James. What a ballsy call, replacing 2 of his starters, and it's paid off for him early in the third quarter. And then I'm sure Mike Morcell is going to come in the game a little bit upset that he didn't start, and maybe he'll get going because he's only had 1 field goal attempt this game.
Well, 10-0 to start the second, 11-2 to start the third. What they couldn't do in the first half after that second quarter is hang on to that, and they ended up losing that quarter over the period. So actually, for Plymouth, these next couple of minutes coming out of this timeout, they've got to at least trade scores here.
Yeah, and I feel like they lost their identity as well. I think when London hit a couple shots, Plymouth were trying to trade baskets with them, and they can't do that. I think as soon as you adopt into that fast-paced scoring game of London Lions, it's over for them. So they have to stay disciplined to their game, and even if it's not going right for them for a 2-minute period, they have to stay true to their game, and that's what they've done at the start of this half. It's been a defensive-oriented team, and they've created problems for this London team.
Yeah, and like you said, that's important, but that's the game of basketball. When you exert so much energy trying to fight back into it, if the other team comes back and knock down a shot, it's easy to just drop your heads, when you've expended so much energy. So like you mentioned, Ant, if they can withstand these many runs by London, they'll be able to get themselves back in the game.
There's just a slight delay there as the score had gone the wrong way on the scoreboard. They've corrected it. Ours is right, 54-49. Well, Tawia inside. Oh, he's lost the ball. He should have had an easy score. Well, costly turnovers here for the Lions at the start of the second half. Mcgill. Porter Bunton for 3, not quite, but Ubiara with the offensive rebound and a new 14. Mcgill round the screen to the free throw line, knocks it down. 20 points now for Ricky Mcgill, and the lead is down to 3.
That was a good offensive rebound from Ubiara, but it wasn't a forced shot. They reset the offense, 14 seconds, nice strong hard pick and roll, and a nice finish from Ricky Mcgill.
Where top of the key, in and out. Good work from Tawia to keep it alive, and it'll be a London ball from the end.
There's no easy offensive rebounds, is there, with Prince eBay in there? There's no give-me's. Everything he challenges, everything he contests, and he doesn't come up with it there, but what he does do, he doesn't give it to Chris Tawia.
Now back to Williams. Parker fires it up high. Gets the rebound this time, eBay. Mcgill again on the pick and roll. Back to Neighbor. Mcgill getting all the way to the basket. Ricky Mcgill dominating the game here, has cut it to 1.
Well, McGill's mindset is clear. This game is going to be won or lost with the ball in my hands.
15-2 the start here to the second half. Lions desperate for some points, and Dirk Williams provides them 3.
Huge play from Dirk Williams, and that's for me not just a play to score the ball, but that's my team is in a vulnerable position. We need to do something here, and big shot from him.
3 or 4 from behind the arc. He has 15. Ubiara driving in, throws up the circus shot, might get back up off the ground to grab his own rebound. Well, he was on the floor, and he managed to get up and snaffle the loose ball.
That's called athleticism. To be able to lay on the floor and be able to get up that quickly and retrieve the basketball.
And good old-fashioned passion and determination as well. When you compare these two teams after the second half, the Raiders have come up with those 50-50 balls, and Ubiara's been those guys with the offensive rebounds or anticipation of passes. Very, very good energy.
Just getting off the floor is a struggle for some of us, never mind chasing the ball.
You can't teach that. You either got it or you don't.
Hamilton into the game for the Raiders. Here he is. Going at Ali Hodzic. He's in trouble there. He gets the shot away in time from slightly behind the basket. Parker. Back-to-back threes for the London Lions, and Paul James turns to the table and says, I'll have a timeout. Well, they got it all the way back, and suddenly, in the blink of an eye, it's back to 7.
Prowess of the three-point shooter from this London Lions team. It's so good to have in your locker, because you can literally a couple shots later and it doesn't all seem that bad anymore. The Raiders have to figure out a way to just run them off the line. They cannot keep continuing to let this London Lions team shoot the ball from beyond the arc, because as of now they're 10 for 15. And
well, that's the interesting thing to me, because actually the Lions average 33 pointers a game, and we're obviously halfway through the third quarter and they've only taken 15. The problem is they've shot at an even better percentage than they usually do, so when they have got the looks, they've gone in.
It's tough, and this is, for me, this is where the integration of Ashley Hamilton, it becomes difficult, because in the second half, Plymouth Raiders have had much success with Mcgill coming off ball screens, and then Ash checks into the game and they go to an ISO situation. So it's about having that balance.
And they've still got pregnant gains in the offense here in, Chris Porter-Buttons is on 2 points, Mike Morcell on 2 points. You feel naturally that there's some gains there to be had if they can somehow figure out a way to integrate them into the offense.
Here's Hamilton. Mcgill directing traffic.
Now we got Liggins switched on Mcgill, so see if he's able to slow him down a bit.
Ali Hodzic call for the foul. Liggins turned to him and said, you didn't need to foul him there, I got round that. Mcgill, tough shot, but he's been firing all game, and he continues to. He's over 75% from the floor today, 24 points. Williams out to Ware, on to Liggins for 3. It's short, but it comes back to him. Ware's going to have a go. No, he turns it down, drives in instead, and they're fighting for the rebound, the Plymouth players.
That's a shot.
It's off the mark, though. And there's a foul there on eBay on the rebound, just grabbing hold of Ali Hodzic. Just pulls his shirt at the end there.
He hasn't been in foul trouble either. Prince eBay, so he's been able to be that dominant force inside without having to come in and out of the game because of managing fouls.
Liggins to Williams for 3. Dirk Williams knocks down another triple, his 4th of the game. He's got 18.
You cannot leave him, you cannot give him an inch, you cannot give him the space. I think with Prince eBay on the court as well, you're going to have to run them off the three-point line. Giving them shots is not an option.
Yeah, make them put the ball on the floor.
Good play from Liggins to knock it loose. Morcell, tough shot from right by the three-point line.
That was a tough shot. He's done really well there to come up with the 2 points.
And he has to get going.
Well, bodies flying everywhere. The foul called first on the floor. Oh, it's Porter Bunsen, who ended up on the deck on his way back up, started doing press-ups.
Whatever works. If he feels like that's gonna get him to the next level, then so be it. But You're right, bodies flying everywhere, and too much contact there deemed by the referee, so another foul on the Raiders defense.
Liggins cross-court to Ware. Late in the shot clock. Fires up the three. Front iron. Hamilton with the rebound. Hamilton going. Still going. Coast to coast. And the foul is called. He'll shoot two.
Good push from Ashley Hamilton there. And Lions have picked up their 4th team foul as well, so the Raiders could take advantage of that in the final 2 minutes of this quarter.
3rd foul on Parker. He and Liggins, the only 2 on 3 on either side of the ball.
I'm not so sure that was an act of shooting.
Because he's picked the ball up, I think as long as you don't pass it, it's considered to be a shot.
Well, I'm sure Plymouth Raider fans aren't complaining out there.
Hamilton from the line, a 4-point game, 2 to play here in this quarter, a quarter that is 21 points to 11 in favor of the Raiders. Ware drives in, finishes on the glass.
Nice play from Kevin Ware there, strong drive, left side, but finishes with his right.
Mcgill, mid-range, Ricky Mcgill, 26.
Pull-up has been very, very consistent. It's really hard to stop there as well at that pick and roll because the defense is designed to either stop the three or stop the drive inside.
Good rebound from Williams. Ooh, Porter Bunting gets there first. He's off and running. It's going to have to be a foul, and because it's a foul in transition, it's an unsportsmanlike foul.
Great energy from Chris Porter Bunting as well. To hands and eyes were on the ball the whole time.
It was on the trip, and more importantly, that is the 4th personal foul on Deandre Liggins. Ouch. Well, we said he wasn't going to come out of the game. He might have to now with 11 minutes to go. It's one of them where I don't know whether he's deliberately tripped him or not. You can't go into his head. It didn't look like a deliberate trip, but because he's tripped him and you've turned the ball over, it's not a play on the ball. It's got to, if it's a foul called, it's got to be an unsportsmanlike.
It was a terrific defensive effort there from Porter Bunting. It looked to me like he just slipped. It just looked like there was a collision there, and he's going at 100 miles per hour, and he's still trying to recover the ball.
Yeah, that's a tough call, but and sometimes in this game you create your own luck just by making hustle plays, and Chris Porter Bunting was able to do that. Got the benefit of the doubt.
Well, he hasn't managed to score very many today, just 2 points in the game. Wow. But the foul might be worth more than the points in the longer run. Hamilton trying to go to work to the spin, getting all the way in, but in the end didn't have the elevation to get it away.
Sometimes when you're coming back from injury too, that is the thing that's different, the player you were before, the elevation and just that stamina in the legs to be able to, that explosiveness after running back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
You can visualize it all you want, but you won't be able to exercise that until you actually get out there on the court. Bodies beginning to fly everywhere out here in this game.
No quarter asked or given. 30 seconds to play in the third. 4-point game. Trophy on the line. Ali Hodgic did a great job, did his work early there.
He did, he sealed it really low, and he's got such a wide body. He was stayed nice and low with that. Nice finish.
Shot clock is off. Raiders can run this to the buzzer. McGill going back door. They turn it over, London. Here's Ware. Still going. Ware all the way to the basket. Offensive foul is the call. The only question would be the feet as to whether he was inside the circle or not.
Wow. Regardless of
Let's have a look. Is he outside the circle? Yes, he is.
That's a
It's
great
charge.
defensive play.
It's a good call.
That's excellent.
Good call.
And in these type of games, they come down to plays like that because that's possibly a three-point swing going into the fourth quarter. London has a chance to go up 9.
I remember some guy last year in the trophy final taking a charge late on. Important one for his team. Who was that?
That seems so long ago.
Can't remember. Well, Ware's fallen down. Porter Bunton back iron. Ball is loose and the quarter is over. A good quarter for the Plymouth Raiders as they have cut the gap. But with 10 minutes to play, it is still the London Lions who have the lead, although their leader is in foul trouble. All to play for here in Worcester. London 67, Plymouth 61. We will have the fourth quarter when we return. Welcome back to Worcester. Wow. Plymouth fans, London fans, how are your nerves with 10 to play? This one could still go either way. It's the Raiders who had the momentum in the third, who start the fourth. It's the Lions who still lead by 6. Neighbor driving all the way to the basket, but he's unable to put it in. Parker driving hard, he's fouled, and there's a question of whether that's a goaltend. Referee says it is a goaltend. The basket will count, so it's an and 1 here. If you just watch, the foul is there around the hip, and you can see Ojerobia just interfered with the rim. So the basket is good, and that's one of those worst of all worlds because it's a foul that doesn't do anything and a goaltend that you didn't really need. Not that you ever need a goaltend, but you know what I mean.
Well, it's even more so multiplied because Plymouth Raiders had a very similar situation at the other end of the floor where, you know, eBay dunks the ball in, but the hand came up through, and that wasn't deemed a goaltend. So, yeah, harsh bit of ruling there in that specific niche refereeing area.
Knocked all the way into the backcourt by Ware. So they will have to take it from back there. They've got 14 seconds. Morcell for three, rims out. Important couple of minutes this for Plymouth. Robinson throws it up way over the top because he suddenly saw eBay, and you've got to send it high when that man's around.
Incredible how much he changes the shot.
You drive in there, you have to think twice about finishing over someone like that.
Good positioning from inside as well. Ali Hodges has been working very, very well inside with his positioning, and Prince eBay trying to give him a little bit of his own medicine.
Morcell just had enough to get that over the front of the iron.
Morcell's made some difficult shots, so you never quite know when, you know, which one is going to ignite the rest of the on-surge.
And he might have an opportunity to shake loose because Liggins has been guarding him for most of this game, hence is why he's been so quiet. But with Liggins on the bench, this might be an opportunity for Mike Morcell to be a little bit more aggressive.
Just on the line there, Parker, as he tried to recover the lost possession by Williams. And I guess the question that Vince has to run through his mind is how long does he leave it? I guess while he's got a 6-point cushion, he's all right with Liggins on the bench. But if it gets much closer, here's Dusha. Throws it away.
Straight in turnover there. It's a post entry, and you've got to know that Josh Ward-Hibbett is very active there. They've already seen that in this game, that he's anticipating that pass inside.
Ward-Hibbett, and again that one goes in, but eBay changed that shot by standing there. He pulled up a lot further out than he normally would, but it goes in. That's all that matters for Josh Ward-Hibbett. Mcgill for three, rims out. Ward-Hibbett with the rebound. Robinson on the pick and roll, going to work. And again, eBay changes that one. Dusha forward to Mcgill, lays it in. 28 now.
Really good push of the basketball. Good, strong defensive stance from the Plymouth Raiders and Prince eBay. And they're out to the races.
Just over 7 minutes remaining.
Where nice pass. Ali Hodges takes the foul and will go to the line.
And that's what you probably have to do more of if you're at the London Lions. You got to get Prince eBay involved in some of those ball screen coverages so he's away from the rim.
Also might get him a foul as they did there. Just in case you're wondering at home, Ricky McGill's 28 points is still 12 points short of the trophy final record. John Amici back in 1998, although that final is better remembered for Terrell Myers' shot at the end of it than it was Amici and his 40 points and 14 of 14 free throw records. Chris Finch, of course, the coach of Sheffield. When Myers hit that shot with his floppy hair, whatever happened to him?
If you're a fan of the NBA, you'll know.
You'll know, yeah.
Or alive.
his neighbor inside. And jammed in by eBay.
Such a force. Big offensive rebound and putback there from Prince eBay.
Here comes Ware. Liggins. Drives down the lane, throws it up. And that won't count. Liggins stuck back in there and immediately made an impact as soon as he comes off the bench.
That's what they've missed, I think, for this period of time. Shot clock winding down, options limited, get it in the hands of Liggins. He found a way to make something happen there.
As Vince makes the call to roll the dice, and I'm with him on this one. Play it out.
The other thing is that, you know, different guys have different leashes, and Liggins is as smart a player as there is, well, in the league, never mind the London roster, so you'd give him more of a leash than you would one or two other guys.
Absolutely, you can trust him.
Ball is loose and the Lions reclaim it. 7-point lead with 6 to play. Nice work to get it. Oh, blocked by eBay.
He erases mistakes defensively.
Lobbed into eBay, and he goes up strong.
Good foul.
And he takes the foul.
Very good foul and good catch as well. That again, that's a trust for your guard there to have that lead pass, and here's the play before. eBay blocking shots, and that's a basket-saving block. On the other end of the floor gets Chris Tauer to commit the foul.
But as we've already said once, it's a good foul because he's a 35% free throw shooter.
You don't often see that, a professional basketball player shooting 35% from the free throw line. You know, we say, you know, Hacker Shack, and you look at how that was his kryptonite, his weakness, but he still shot around the 50% mark.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where just bobbled the ball and ended up turning it over. Mcgill in transition scores, and the foul is called. Ricky Mcgill is up to 30 and a chance for a 31st at the line.
he has been fantastic, fearless, aggressive, all of the above. Excellent play.
And Plymouth just keeps hanging around, and what will be interesting is if it gets late and it gets close, how much of the pressure of London, knowing they got to win this game, will be a factor.
13 of 17 from the floor, Ricky Mcgill. If they do win the trophy, there's no doubt he has been the offensive firepower to get them there, both in the semi-finals, both legs, and here so far through almost 35 minutes of the final.
There's only one other player in double digits, and that's Will Neighbor.
There's Liggins driving through, gets to the basket. Will that count? Yes, it will. Basket is good for Deandre Liggins as he looks to reply with his own and one.
Just settles the nerves, doesn't he? If you're a London Lions fan at home, you're all the more comfortable knowing that Liggins is on court.
Yep.
And for both teams, you got their stars doing what they do, making plays down the stretch.
And eBay, that was his 4th foul, and 3 of them have come in quick succession here in the 4th, and he sits down. And obviously, the London players who like to attack the basket breathe a sigh of relief to see him sat on the bench.
That's for sure. And what an impact he's had as well in the second half.
And like you had mentioned about that leash,
yeah,
he doesn't have as long as leash as Liggins.
Well, as we've seen, 3 fouls in the blink of an eye here.
Yeah, those leashes are 2 very, very different sizes. That's for sure.
Marcel. Gets into the paint, spinning into trouble, and traveled before he passed it away.
And that's all a credit to Deandre Liggins' defense. Staying in front of the ball, keeping the chest in front at all times, forcing Mike Morcell into a difficult situation.
6-point game, 5 to play. Lions have been in control from the start, really. Offensive foul called off the ball. I think it's Tawia. It is 25 that's shown to the table, and that is his 4th personal foul. I don't know if he was going out anyway, but he is now.
Well, both teams, 5 minutes to go, both teams are in the bonus, so we'll see which teams take advantage of it.
Just setting the screen a little bit too aggressively, just kind of chasing it again.
It's been a frustrating day for Chris Porter-Button-Smith. Chris Porter-Button, excuse me, on offense, but he's had a good game still. You know, his energy has been good, his competitiveness has been good. He's made some big plays.
Morcell. Oh, there's a big play, and it's finished off by Neighbor, but it was Porter-Bunton first, trying to jam it back in.
Oh, right on cue there. And
Ward Hibbert, challenged by Neighbor, and a chance to cut it to a single shot here. Porter-Bunton. Forced back out by Dangakoto. He's trying to lob it to Hamilton, and Ward Hibbert was in the way, and the foul is called on Ashley Hamilton.
The pass wasn't there, and this mismatch has not favoured the Plymouth Raiders whatsoever.
Not at all.
They're seeing Josh Ward Hibbert, they're purely looking at his size, thinking they've got a mismatch there, but they've had 3 turnovers or at least deflections as a result of trying to get the ball in to the post player while he's being guarded by Josh Ward Hibbert.
And the point you just made, over the limit, that's 2 free throws and a chance just to tick the lead up without any effort.
Josh Ward Hibbert just changes ball games. He did this for the Leicester Riders, and he's done it within modest or limited minutes, but he's clearly a player that's just a gamer, a winner, and he's took this game and he's left a positive imprint on it.
He's got a tremendous mentality. Obviously, he was a super talented tennis player as a youngster, and you don't get to the level that he did without having that sort of mentality. Wow, off the top of the board there from Mcgill. Here's Parker to Williams, who lays it in. Quick points for the Lions.
Rare miss there, big miss from Mcgill, and psychologically as well from the Raiders. You see him lead the score, miss so dramatically. Have an effect.
Hamilton driving through, and this time he does get the foul from Ward Hibbert.
And if there's anyone that's going to take advantage of this foul count, it's Ashley Hamilton, as he's great at using his body and getting to the free throw line.
Third one on Ward Hibbert. Hamilton makes them both.
Eight points personal for Ashley Hamilton. It's all been from the free throw line, 8 for 8.
Dangakoto calling for a screen. Shot clock needs to go up. Dangakoto gets it away, but misses. Hamilton with the rebound. Well, there was a time where overtime was unthinkable in a final. We saw it last year. We saw it when the Lions played the Royals a couple of years. Oh, my goodness. Liggins landed hard there. Foul was called on Hamilton. He's back on his feet. I think he's okay.
Good contest there from the Lions. There's 3 of them in there contesting the shot, and Liggins comes up with a big rebound, but falls hard.
It's only the second foul on Hamilton, but again, it's the long walk down and 2 free throws. eBay back in the game on 4 fouls. 3 minutes to play.
Still a good chunk of this ball game left. I think you don't want to chance too much, and maybe that's the gamble you lead now, is to, you know, to insert eBay back into the game.
I suppose the other thing is Lions are over the limit, so any foul sends Plymouth to the free throw line. You mentioned Hackashack. They could get into that with eBay, couldn't they?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad option. I mean, he's currently struggled from, you know, from the line, and he has.
Oh, well, speaking of struggling, Liggins misses from the free throw line. He gets the ball back for his team, but it's surely a kick ball. Yes. Neighbor with the thumbs up to the referee.
And more so, just a little bit out
it.
of control there. Sorry, Dan. Just a little bit out of control offensively.
Morcell just hasn't been able to find his rhythm as he's trying to make something happen, which he's trying to create, and he'll make way now for Denzel Ubiaro, who has had a very solid game, and again a positive impact on this Plymouth Raiders team.
Parker. eBay wins that battle, although Lions get it back. Ward Hibbett's in there, it rims out. Bobbling about, blocked by Neighbor. Plymouth have it. Mcgill, no way past Ward Hibbett. Liggins, frantic play here with just over 2 to go.
Massive opportunity at this game right now for the Plymouth Raiders. They can't quite capitalize on it.
Final 2 minutes. Parker, big shot, misses. Neighbor with the rebound. Plymouth need a score to make it a 1-possession game. Mcgill, round the screen. Gets it down to eBay, who lays it in, and it's a 3-point game.
And Deandre Liggins had to back off there with 4 fouls. Otherwise, he would go with the Hackashack, like you mentioned, and put him at the free throw line.
Dangakoto. Back to Parker. Liggins looking to go to work, drives in, and the foul is going to be on Ubiaro, and it's 2 more foul shots.
It's really difficult cover, isn't he, to stay in front of, and Ubiaro, you can see him trying to move his feet, but Liggins' first step just enough to get by him or on his hip.
Timeout has been called. 1 minute and 11 seconds to go. And presumably Paul James looking about drawing up a play for the next time down. He's going to assume that Liggins makes both of these. It's not a guarantee, but he knows that his team will probably be 2 shots down with 1:11 to go, so time is of the essence for them.
Yeah, he's probably saying to those guys that it doesn't have to be a 3. Don't panic. It's still a lot of clock left, and probably drawing up something for Mcgill to come off a ball screen and getting downhill.
McGill's been really good in the pick and roll. He's had a couple, you know, I think shot attempts in this quarter, which may be down to fatigue. He's played at heavy minutes, and he's you know, he's had very little respite. So you feel maybe a couple of those, you know, ones that came up short was due to fatigue. But you know, off the last play there, that great use of keeping the dribble alive on that pick and roll, and phenomenal bounce pass inside to Prince eBay for the finish. So you know, he's the guy I'd want the ball in his hands.
Has he been out of the game, Mcgill? I'm not sure that he has. If he has, it was for 30 seconds somewhere.
Yeah, he's been a prominent feature.
Well, Deandre Liggins, who is only 5 for 11 from the free throw line today, Needs to make at least one here, preferably two. And he does make the first. He's 87% free throw shooter on the season. Is that a two? It's a two. He's tipped it in. Oh my goodness, leave it alone. He gets a hand on it, does he? Yes, it's a 2-point. It's an own basket. What a disastrous mistake. Mcgill. Well, foul off the ball, but it's not the worst foul you've ever seen.
It's a great foul. It's a very, very good foul if you're the London Lions team. And you know, we're looking at margins here now as we enter the latter minutes. We're under the latter minutes of this game, so you've got a point here that the goaltend has happened there. You've potentially saved yourself 1 or 2 points here now if eBay misses 1 or 2 free throws.
Well, he's just put 2 points on the board at the other end when there should have only been 1. And he's not putting on 2 points at this end.
In games like this, these little plays come down to experience. And besides Ashley Hamilton and Will Neighbor, not very much experience, whereas London has a ton of guys that's been in this position before.
Well, they're playing defense here, the Raiders, so they have to get a stop. If they're going to lose 24 seconds, they must get a stop. And they don't, they get a foul. That's the worst real outcome for them. 17 seconds off, and you send them to the free throw line.
Yeah, you've got to do either or, haven't you? You've got to make an early decision to foul or just lock up and don't foul.
Well, Deandre Liggins with 16 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, and an efficiency of 31.
That was an uncharacteristic play from Chris Porter-Bunting, so he's really good at getting positioning and taking the charge there. Maybe he got there a little bit too late, but he's reached forward there and committed the foul, which he's taken more difficult charges in this game.
And Dan, as you mentioned those numbers, that's no surprise to me because like I mentioned, from the warm-up, from the jump, you could just see it in Liggins' eyes that he was ready to go.
It's no surprise to me because I told you he was going to do it on Thursday. He misses the second. Porter-Bunting with the rebound. 6 points. They need to score quick. 2 or 3, it's got to be quick. Goes in, and that's going to be a foul on Liggins. He's out of the game. That's his 5th. A little punch of the thing in frustration as he heads off.
Yeah, I think if you're Liggins, you kind of have to not let him score, but not challenge it as aggressively. I think you're more valuable on the court than... Oh, to be fair, he's got a very valid point there. He's got his hands on the ball, and maybe it looked worse than what it was because Porter-Bunting is attacked the rim, but that could have been a block on a block shot on another day.
Everyone wipes his feet.
I was just going to say, as Plymouth has to start looking to foul here, who do you foul on the London Lions with this 5?
Well, you've got to foul whoever's got the ball. That's the problem. And I'm sure they're going to put the ball in the hands of Robinson or Dangakodo. Well, Vince is going to call a timeout. And this is an interesting decision for him to make here with 29.7, up 4. Obviously, a foul is coming. He has the opportunity to advance the ball. In doing so, he loses 10 seconds off the shot clock, but might tempt Plymouth into playing some defense and thinking, well, we'll still have 15 seconds back. But in moving the ball forward, you can't run the baseline because you've got to stand still on the sideline, and it's a harder inbound pass, as we've seen numerous occasions. I'm thinking of a Sheffield game where they had a 5-second violation against Manchester, I think it was. It's happened 2 or 3 times this season where teams have struggled to get it in from the side.
I mean, I think you got to inbound the ball from the baseline just because if you
can
do
run.
advance it, well, and as well because you're going to limit yourself to the 14-second shot clock instead of 24. So,
but if they're going to foul you, it doesn't matter.
Well, he doesn't know though. He doesn't know if Plymouth Raiders.
Well, they're not going to play defense. They're down 4.
True. Yeah. 5.7 seconds.
If you
left,
advance the ball, they might play defense because they're thinking 15 seconds.
Yeah.
They're not
14
advancing
seconds.
the ball. Yeah. They're not advancing the ball, so they've got to get it in. They've got Williams and Dangakodo on the free throw line. Robinson at the halfway line. Tawia well out of the way. And it's in, and he's got away Dangakodo, and he's got it on to Robinson and Williams, and they're running clock. They can't get a foul here. Wow, great play from the Lions. They managed to run off some extra seconds before sending the guy you want to go to the free throw line to the free throw line. I mean, this is Justin Robinson's territory here. He's a great free throw shooter, and he's a guy who can really make them in the clutch. Oh, and I give him the big build-up, and it's off the back of the iron.
Great defense, Dan.
Well, in some ways, the difference between 5 and 6 isn't huge. It's still 2 shots. He's missed them both. Unbelievable. They've got it down, Plymouth. They need to score quick. Porter Bunton. It's going to pull up for 3. He's missed it. Oh, the tip doesn't go. Oh, the second attempt from Ubiaro. Ubiaro tips it in. It's a one-shot game with 12 seconds to go.
Incredible.
What a turn of events. Wow. Missed free throws, and then look at the hustle. Ubiaro going up over the big guys to tip it in.
Huge play. Porter Bunton as well hasn't had the most fluent games in offense, but he wanted that responsibility. Pose up for the 3, knowing that he's got active offensive rebounders in eBay and Ubiaro, and he's, they converted 2-point game. Wow.
It's not over yet.
Well, those trips to the free throw line has become a little bit more complex and a little bit more tight now as well. They inbound the ball, and Raiders will look to foul as soon as they possible.
So now do you advance the ball? It makes no difference in shot clock terms. Now do you advance the ball?
I think you gotta.
I would personally. I would.
I don't think I would.
But you've got the advantage of being able to run. But what you don't want to do is turn the ball over under your own basket.
Yeah, but I need that space, and you got to expect that Plymouth is going to foul immediately. And then also you can run the baseline as well.
Yeah.
So I would enter it down on the opposite end.
You see how aggressive Plymouth Raiders were when they inbounded the ball on the baseline. Porter Bunton's front court for the steal.
Vince just pointed front court.
But even then, we've been in this situation before where we've turned it over against Cheshire in the cup first round of the cup.
So Williams to inbound. There's no pressure on the ball. That's interesting. And they get it in really easy to Parker, who's eventually fouled. I can't believe they didn't have anybody standing in front of the ball.
But they didn't switch aggressively. They didn't do anything. So what was the point of not putting anyone on the ball?
And also, you've still got eBay on the court, which is an option for the Lions to foul. Parker to make it a 2-shot game with 10 seconds to go. First one just caught the front of the iron.
It did scrape the front, Dan.
Yeah. Oh, calm as you like. He makes it. Now Paul James will call a timeout. And that is all the timeouts used. It's the last intervention for the two coaches. Now, no guessing here. PJ's going to advance the ball, but they're into the territory here where they need a 3, unless you can get a lob to the halfway line.
Well, this is where we talk about the games of margins as well. You look at that goaltender, the 1 point there, that switches this whole dynamics of what we're experiencing now. It goes from a 1-possession game to a 2-possession game. So, it's fine margins.
Well, if you're watching us on Sky Sports Arena, you're going to have to change over to Sky Sports Mix. We'll be leaving you on Sky Sports Arena in just a few moments' time, or on the Sky YouTube channel. We will see you again shortly, but do change over to Sky Sport Mix for the last 10 seconds. Well, the two teams making their way back out onto court. 10.4 seconds to go. 86-82. Plymouth need a quick score.
The guy with a hot hand is inbound on the ball.
And they've got somebody long in front of him to make it difficult. It's into Porter Bunton. They've got to take it too long here. They need it. It has to go in. Oh, it rims out. And London get the rebound. And that will surely do it. Josh Ward-Hibbert is fouled, but with 2.3 seconds to go, the celebrations can begin on the London bench.
Well, it was a good look. It was contested, but it was a good look. And the miss wasn't very large. The only thing I would say is I don't understand why Ricky Mcgill wouldn't feature or be a part of the last shot of the game. The one guy who's carried you to this position here, the most offensively consistent player of today, why wouldn't he have the ball in his hands? Maybe the play was designed for that and they couldn't get him in, the ball in his hands. I don't know, but it just...
Porter Bunton hasn't made a field goal in the game.
No, and Ricky McGill's made lots.
Yeah, but even if it is, it's only 10 seconds on the clock. That's too long for a play to develop.
Yeah. And that will do it. The London Lions are the BBL Trophy champions. That went in on the buzzer. It doesn't count. The Lions can celebrate. They came to win and they have won. 88-82. A dramatic game. But the London Lions are the team celebrating at the end, and boy, are they enjoying themselves out there.
Their first piece of silverware as a unit. The expectations have been high. The whispers have got louder. Can this London Lions team step up to expectations? And the answer is yes. They have gotten themselves a piece of silverware, the BBL Trophy 2021.
And they, well, there's always two sides to it. You've seen Paul James; he's been on both sides of it in finals over many, many years for many, many clubs. But for Vince, it's a moment to celebrate for his team. A lot of pressure on them to win silverware this year, and they've got the first one in the trophy cabinet. And well, they will enjoy it. And obviously, they had the challenges of the cup final. Those are long since forgotten now that they have the trophy in their cabinet, or they will do very shortly. But a great game, a great effort from Plymouth, who were behind for most of the game but took it right to the final buzzer.
Oh, it was incredible. BBL Trophy final, Dad, and I think at half-time we were deliberating of if this is going to be a blowout just because of the impact London Lions could put on this game. But the Plymouth Raiders responded incredibly well this second half and made things very, very well, unpredictable for one, but also a stellar BBL Trophy final. And the London Lions, their discipline here and their mental toughness as well, I think, carried them over the line.
Well, it certainly has. Well, they're setting up for the presentation, and now they will begin. And the London Lions have got their trophy champions hats on already, and they will enjoy this. And these are the memories that, as a player, you have and you treasure both today and long into your retirement as well. And well, what a game for this guy, Ricky Mcgill. 31 points for his team. He really carried them.
He was huge, and I think it was a gutsy performance from him as well, whether that was from hitting big shots or finding a way to get it all the way to the rim. He was huge for them, and he has to take confidence now in the rest of the season. The concern was, besides from Will Neighbour, no one else was in double digits, and they just didn't have the support. Offensively, they didn't have the support from the rest of the cast. Defensively, I think this Plymouth Raiders team were excellent today. They collectively worked together. They made things very difficult for this London Lions team, but offensively, they came up short in too many different areas on the floor.
Well, that will be the one, but this is still a team who in the last 2 months have only lost to London in 14 games. They've lost twice. This one will hurt more. So they've got to channel this disappointment into the remainder of their season and for the playoffs. But for London, well, they are the trophy champions. Heartbreak a few years ago in the trophy final. Joy this time around as their players go and collect their mementos. And Parker is often sort of like overlooked in all of this, but another solid game for him.
Yeah, excellent, and he was the same in the, I think in the BBL Cup final as well. You know, he'll come in and he'll contribute. He hit some big threes, remember, as well, when the London Lions were a little bit shaky and not so secure in themselves. You know, he came up and made shots, and 15 points for him.
Turk Williams with 20 points, got to be an MVP running, so too Deandre Liggins with 19.7 rebounds, 8 assists and 5 steals.
He was huge, wasn't he? And I think late as well, especially in the fourth quarter, when they wanted to get the ball in the hands of their key player, they chose Liggins, and Liggins delivered.
Now Vince going up to get his medal. You can see the players enjoy Vince and his coaching staff getting their medals as well. He's an incredible survivor of British basketball, been around for so long. Had good days and bad days, but treats them all the same, Vince. Today's a good day.
Yes, it is. London Lions, again. High expectation, Dan. Huge game from today, huge.
Well, we've got the MVP announcement to come now.
19 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals,
Your 2021 BBL Trophy final MVP, Deandre Liggins. Well, he spoke this week of the frustration of having to watch the cup final at home on TV. He certainly didn't watch tonight. He was very active and such a key part of this team, as he has been all season.
He was. He'll make a play on the defensive end, offensive end, in between. He is that guy that can do everything, and rightfully so, he gets MVP. A stellar performance from him today.
Well, they will all come to the middle of the court and get themselves ready for the moment they have been waiting for and training for and getting ready to enjoy.
Please come up, Big Joe Akinwin,
and their captain, Joe Akinwin,
will
come up. He will size up the trophy. He lifts it, and the London Lions are the 2021 BBL Trophy champions. Ticker tape flies, and they pose for the cameras with the trophy. And they worked very hard for it. It was a really physical game. It was a game with nothing given or taken from either side. And they were made to work hard for it, but they had the resolve to see it over the line in the end.
You did, and you really had that feel as well that it was a high caliber, you know, top class, you know, BBL final game. In the second half, every single possession mattered. The intensity level had increased again, and London Lions came out on top. Big fourth quarter for them.
Well, they certainly did. London Lions have won the trophy. Let's get some analysis and reaction from Nat and the boys down on courtside.
Thanks, Dan. Drew, you've been in this situation a number of times. We established at the top. What are the emotions and the feelings that these players are having right now?
I mean, we've heard all the narratives about the London Lions and even a narrative about how interested they would be playing in the British Basketball League. But watching these guys celebrate just a moment ago, you can tell how much it means to these guys.
Really does, and it was terrific to see the backing that they gave Coach McCauley when his name was called out, because any suggestion that there are a lot of egos on this side and it's a very difficult camp, you just have to look at the celebrations we're seeing now, Kieran.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm always trying to find out information, and the buzz I get is there's just a bunch of guys who just love playing with each other and playing as a team, and it's great to see. Obviously, the hard work they put in, everything they went through with the whole COVID-19 protocol to now come up on top, I think to them it must feel just great.
Really showed their clutch mentality as well in the final stages, didn't they? Because the Raiders wouldn't go away, and that's what great teams do, of course, Drew, close things down.
Yeah, Plymouth, credit to Plymouth. They played their hearts out. They never gave up, and they've proven that they were here for a reason. But Deandre Liggins was obviously the difference today.
Well, we saw a lot of big performances from a number of the Lions. Dirk Williams had 20 points. Orlando Parker solid as well, but it was all about Deandre Liggins, wasn't it, our MVP? We discussed his pedigree at the top of the show, and he showed today why he is one of the best players in the BBL, Kieran.
It's just those little things, like I was saying that, he has an open look, he makes it. He sees those little passes, he makes the big steal, gets the big rebound. He does whatever it takes for his teammate, to excel. And I think that is a sign of a great, great player.
MVP today, and he's right in the mix, of course, for MVP of the season, isn't he?
Yeah, this game will probably prevail him on for the rest of the season, give him confidence that he can take these guys to the next level, which he's proven today. So he'll definitely be in that conversation.
All right, well, our MVP, Deandre Liggins, is courtside now with Mike Tuck.
Congrats, Deandre. How are you feeling right now?
I feel great. We came out, played extremely hard. I give credit to Plymouth. They a good team, a gritty team. Ricky Mcgill had a great game, and we just we fought to the end. We came out victorious.
Yeah, Plymouth seemed like a team that just wouldn't go away. How did you feel about that?
They're a great team, well coached. They played to the end, and I give them a lot of credit.
You're a guy who missed out on the Cup final, and you said it was really difficult for you to miss that and not be there with your teammates, especially when they came out with a loss. How does it feel now to resurrect that and get a win?
It feels great. We was battling COVID, and I had the opportunity. I missed it, the Cup finals, and I felt really bad. And that's something I couldn't control, but I'm just happy we were able to pull this final away and get the win.
You're a guy who seemed pretty locked in from the jump. What was your mindset going into today?
We couldn't miss this opportunity again. So I just came in with a focus from the jump, and we willed the win. We willed the way. We found the way. We fought through adversity throughout the game. They gave us a battle. They came back. The game was back and forth, a game of runs. And we just kept fighting, and we came out victorious.
Congrats, Deandre.
All right, thanks a lot.
Back to you, Nat.
Brilliant individual performance from Deandre Liggins. 19 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 5 steals. Such a complete performance, wasn't it, Kieran?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he scored in an array of ways. He's just so crafty with it. But, I thought he was having a quiet game at the start, and I turned around, he's got 6 assists. He just finds a way to help his team stay on top.
We saw how much it meant to him as well when the trophy was being awarded. In that interview as well, when Mike was talking about the Cup final and the memories there and how frustrated he was, he couldn't be there for his team. Big smile on his face. But he said, how do you feel now that you've helped them get over the line?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that must have been a tough situation for him, seeing his team perform without him, and there's nothing that he can do. But, over the course of the season, all the practice hours that you put in, when you're able to lift up that championship or that trophy at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Another man I think is going to have a big smile on his face. The Lions head coach, the winning head coach, Vince McCauley. He's with Mike.
Congrats, Coach. How you feel?
I feel great, but before you go anywhere, the first thing I want to do is shout out to the London Lions fans because, they're not here. They're not able to share in this we're doing this for them. We work so hard in this environment with nobody around us, and it's for the fans, and I know the fans are going to appreciate getting this.
Yeah, and talk about the atmosphere here today. Obviously, there is no fans in here. The fans are only at home cheering on. But you guys seemed really loud. Everybody was animated on the bench. How did that help you today?
Really helped us. We had to be. Plymouth are a team that like to make a lot of noise in that corner. And, we feel like that we can do just the same. We have more people. But no, in all reality, we were very focused on the job at hand. It was important for us to come out here, just concentrate on Lions and what we were doing. Don't let anything take us out of what we're trying to do. And I think we did that very, very well, completely all the way down the stretch.
It's been a double day for the London Lions organization. How happy are you for the franchises?
I'm delighted. I've been around this game a long time, as a lot of people know. I've worked my way up from the bottom to where I am right now, and I'm happy to be here with a team and a group of owners who want to see British basketball at the top of European basketball. And that doesn't just mean men. It means the men, it means the women, and it means our junior program and our pathway. If at the end of it all I'm going to make Lions basketball something to be proud of, then that's going to make me happy.
Definitely. And you quoted earlier that we don't want to be a team that is only good on paper. Does taking home a trophy like this kind of prove that?
100%, because in sports it's all about winning. If you don't win, it doesn't really matter how well you played. We've been there. We stood by the side, having played extremely well in the Cup final, and watching Newcastle Eagles guys that take the trophy home. It's all about counting those trophies because we want that to be the result of our hard work.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Oh, just one more thing. Can I say a happy birthday to my daughter Sophia, 18 today?